Hey everybody, my name is Brian Nichols. I'm the owner of Nichols Combat Sports Management, also known as NicholsCSM. This is a post-event review of ShamrockFC 308. I just got back about 30 or so minutes ago, and I wanted to review the amateur bouts that were on the card. Now, let me preface this with a couple things. Number one, if you're a mixed martial arts fan and you haven't been to a local event in your area, I 100% recommend it. You might even get to see people that you'll remember their name maybe if they ever get to the UFC. It's exciting to see fighters progress in their career and get to the top, you know. That was number one. Number two, when you do go to local events, if you look up the fight cards on Tapology, the cards aren't always going to be exactly how they will be when you get there. So if I look at, for example, let me go back to the fight card here. The fight card on Tapology listed 11 fights, right? But if I look at the fight card, so this is the pamphlet that they handed out at the event, and there's actually 16. So there was a difference. And then there were even fights on this card that were missing. So when I do the pre-event reviews, not all the amateur fighters and or fights that I'm looking at will be happening, but I'll do my best just to kind of go with what I get on Tapology or wherever I pull the fight card from. And then in the post-event review, I'll go over the actual ones that happened. So anyways, without further ado, here's actually a picture of my view at the venue. Great little venue. It's in the Ameristar Casino in Kansas City, Missouri. There's a good big crowd. This is actually, I took this during intermission, so the people were kind of out getting drinks and things, so it wasn't as filled during the intermission. But overall, the fights were really good. There was a lot of family and friends in the crowd, so the crowd was into the fights. So it was a good event, good fights. Okay, so let's see. If we go back to my notes. So again, this is my first time trying to take notes at an event to try to keep a good reflection to me of how the fighters that I'm trying to keep track of that I think I'd be interested in managing. And so the notes I took are basically like chicken scratch. I did them on my phone. I think I might try to maybe do a little notepad and try to do it that way next time. But we'll see. I'm going to try, of course, different things, but it's my first time, so bear with me. So here we are. Here's the notes I took in the pre-event video of the fighters that I was interested in. And as you can see, bout 1 was supposed to be a heavyweight, and I was looking for Kirby, but if you look at the fight card, that didn't happen. Kirby wasn't even listed on here anywhere, so that never happened. But the next one, I had bout 3 as the welterweight Jacob Harbit, and wowee wow. I was glad I got there early because that was the first fight, and Jacob Harbit, wow. I don't know how he's 0-0 as an amateur. This is his first fight, and I'll tell you what, I wrote some information here. He almost looked like a very early professional, in my opinion. He was composed. He used combinations. He kept up a good pace. He used great leg kicks. In the fight went on into the third round, and he got TKO, and he didn't look that exhausted. And overall, like, that was a great fight, and he could definitely be a great fighter down the line. He's definitely on my list. He's already number 1 of who I want to reach out to. Now, one thing I want to say is I definitely dropped the ball when I was at the event. Where I was sitting here, right to my left, kind of like the row up to the left was his, I think, friends, and then his family was kind of to the right. And he actually walked up and was hanging out with them, and I was thinking, oh, this is my opportunity. I could go and say hey. But then I actually got nervous because I was thinking, crap, what am I going to say? Number one, I don't even have a business card, you know? So I was trying to, like, think in my head, like, on the spot, like, hey, I'm Brian, blah, blah, and I was like, man, I haven't done this before. I kind of don't want to wing it. I'd like to sound professional and look professional. I was kind of thinking like I wasn't looking very professional either. So I didn't introduce myself. On top of that, his family and friends. I didn't want to really be like, hey, while you're talking to all your family and everything, hey, what's up? So I'll reach out to him, you know, on my own, and hopefully have a conversation with him, and hopefully, you know, if he's wanting to take his career further, hopefully he's wanting, if he would like some help outside of the cage, I definitely would like to work with him. He seemed like a nice kid, and a great fighter already, which was crazy. So that was the first fight. Scrolling down, this fight between Dan, I had to write down how to pronounce his name, is Olijiga. It was a quick fight. He looked very powerful. Round 1, minute 39. This was actually a catch weight, I think, of like, or no, I think it was middleweight, or excuse me, it was light heavyweight, and he came in at 199. So he could probably do middleweight down the line. He was good. Dan won that fight. Scrolling down, there's Fernando versus Dakota. There was nothing here. Intermission, Nick versus, or Bowers versus Lanier. Nothing really there. The next fight, Lance and Nate versus Jeff Allen. That was good. Right from the get-go, Lance came across, hit Jeff, I think it was with the right hand, dropped him, but Jeff was able to scramble and grab a hold of Lance, and a little bit into the first round, grabbed him right in the armbar, and that was it. And it was great. I love those kind of comebacks in amateur fights, because normally in amateur fights, once it starts going downhill, like, that's it. There's usually no comebacks. In professional fights, of course, we'll see that. We'll see people dig out of holes like that, but in amateur, that doesn't normally happen. So Jeff kept composed, and he came out with a win with the armbar, and it was a great fight. So I definitely like Jeff. I'm skipping over the Gillenwater versus Borden. That wasn't really all that great. The last one was Wicks versus Harris of the amateur fights that I took notes of. Wicks, so this was actually a, let's go back to the fight. This is a featherweight fight. So 145 pounds. Wicks made weight, Harris did not. So Wicks is 24, so he's, you know, younger, 5'10", good height. And yeah, he just did a right hand straight down the pipe and knocked down Harris, and that was wrap. And that was a great fight too. So I like Wicks as well. So out of the amateur bouts, I took some other notes on the professional bouts, like the main event. This Eblin, what was his first name? Was it Johnny? Yeah, Johnny Eblin. He's definitely one to look out for. He's 2-0, now 3-0. But he won that fight pretty easily. And you could tell he's a good wrestler. He beat the guy with a front head choke, standing. So it was great. So he's professional though, so I'm not going to reach out. I'm trying to focus on just amateurs. So without further ado, that's my list. Let me scroll in a little more just in case you can't read it. I have Johnny on there, but again, I don't think I want to reach out. I'm going to try to just stick with amateurs for right now. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to try. The thing is, he's a professional, so he's already been doing this for a little while, and I'm very new to this. I don't want to like set the bar way too high that I fail, but I do want to set the bar high. So no, we won't do it. We'll just stick with amateurs. That's what I'm going to try to do. So these are the three I'm going to reach out to. My number 1 is Jacob, 100%. Number 2 is Jeff Allen. Number 3, Derek Wicks. So these are the 3 fighters I'm going to reach out to, trying to kind of gauge their interest. See if, you know, do they currently have a manager? If they don't, you know, what are their plans in their MMA career? Are they wanting to take this further? Is this something they're just doing on the side? Is this something they want to do professionally? And just kind of discuss things with them and see how that goes. So these will be the 3 fighters I'll reach out to, and I'll probably make another video down the line if I actually come to any kind of agreement with any of these fighters, because I was hoping I could just start with maybe 1 or 2 fighters in my region and start with that and just kind of work my way up. So I'll reach out to these 3 and see how it goes, and I think that's all I have for this video. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, and talk to you next time.